Assumption is the mother of mistakes. You always go wrong when you make assumptions. You always make mistakes when you make assumptions. So what we don't want to do when we're talking about darkism is we don't want to make assumptions. And that is why I'm at heart a fan of the colorism scholarly research. And I've stated this more times than I can count. I come on here sometimes and I cuss and I huff and I puff. And sometimes I come on here and I go scholarly. It just depends on, the situation and how I'm feeling. But I need you to understand that dark skin activism is rooted and grounded in my own personal experience, but it is supported by the scholarly literature. It is supported by the research. Understand that. I can cuss all day, but I can always flip and go head to head in a debate with anybody and beat you intellectually. You won't win. And that goes out to all the plagiarizers of my work on YouTube. You will never be able to beat Rashida Strober in an intellectual debate regarding colorism and darkism. Let's understand it. And so that's why I'm telling you, don't assume when it comes to this darkism thing. You have to go based off of evidence. I'm an evidence-based person. I'm emotional, but at the end of the day, I base my stance on darkism off of what is real, what is factual, what I can prove. That's key. That being said, you tuned in to Rashida Strober. I am the world's first and only dark skin activist. There are none. The reason I say that, going back to the evidence, is I created the very phrase dark skin activist. I own the trademark to dark skin activist. It is my intellectual property and my brand. I started dark skin activism, which is the very first movement in history created to fight against colorism and what I call darkism. There was not a movement before I created it. Created in 98. From 98 all the way up into 2010, I was engaged in doing dark skin activism, which consisted of me writing books, plays, and doing darkism talks, of course, about only dark skin and colorism. And the key here is I'm the first person in history to do this. No one else before me. Plenty of people plagiarized me, came after me, but I created the blueprint. My books include Darkism, 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated Against, A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge, which is also a play version. I have a play version, which is a one-woman show where I perform all these dark-skinned characters. Wrote this play way back in 2006 before anybody talked about colorism online. My other books include How to Be the Hottest Dark-Skinned Chick on the Planet, which is the first motivational book for dark-skinned females. I used to give it away for free, but people started plagiarizing me on YouTube, so I took that one down. My other book includes Token Dark Girl, the It Dark Girl of the Moment, and currently I'm writing Inventing Dark Skin Activism, the Rashida Strober story, which lays out how I created the first movement and lane to eradicate colorism and everything that happened in between, including bringing it online and countless people, including celebrities and YouTubers, stealing and plagiarizing my work. So that book is in the works. It's coming. To support me, you can always go to my Cash App, which is $Rashidalala. Once again, $Rashidalala. I've been engaged in a legal battle to fight darkism against a person online, Black man online, big following, that has been the biggest attacker of Black women for years. causing violence against Black women, death threats. I sued the person, the first person to sue this person, spent a lot of money, lots of legal fees involved. So that's why I'm always fundraising. I'm still in litigation right now as we speak. Please go to my Cash App, make a donation if you support my work. I was able to get one of this person's channels removed because of my work. My PayPal, if you want to go there and donate, is icecreamladydream@yahoo.com. Once again, icecreamladydream@yahoo.com. And my GoFundMe, you can Google my GoFundMe, Rashida Strober GoFundMe. Go make a donation. Let's get that GoFundMe to $10,000. It's like I'm going up against, it's David and Goliath. I'm David and this person is Goliath, but I lost some battles and I won some battles. Support me. Help me pay for the legal expenses that I have incurred in this battle, this war, should I say, and continue to incur. Again, my financial platforms, Cash App, PayPal, and my GoFundMe, you can find them on my channel in the description or in the comment section, or you can go to my website, darkskinactivist.com. Once again, darkskinactivist.com. Scroll down and you're going to see the Cash App and the PayPal. Don't just sit here and listen to me tell you to donate. I need you to be proactive and go make a contribution, especially to that GoFundMe. It needs to read $10,000. So somebody got $180, which I'm $180 short of reaching the goal. Go make that donation. Make that happen. Go to my GoFundMe. Make that $180 donation. Make it happen today. All right. So people think that I don't listen to my comments. I do. And so there's this person that has been commenting on my videos for the last couple of weeks. And, you know, as the dark skin activist, the world's first and only dark skin activist and creator and founder of this lane that everyone is copying now, including celebrities and YouTubers who plagiarize my work, I continue to get people that are either supporters or fans or haters. So I got a new hater by the name of Christian Appleton. And this person is, and you actually inspired this live. You purport to be a light-skinned person, a woman. That's what you're saying in my comment section. And you have made the erroneous assumption. Remember, I started out this live with compelling you not to assume. You always make a mistake when you will lose, in fact, when you assume. That's a problem. That pokes holes into, in fact, I would even argue that making assumptions will shoot down your argument. It'll dismantle your argument altogether. Never assume. That's why I don't make assumptions. I'm a fact-based person. I always seek out the facts. Hate me or love me. I could care less. What I love is what is factual, what is true, what is exact. I need evidence. Okay? That's the key for me. I pick sides based on the evidence, who's telling the truth. That's what it's about. Not making assumptions just based off of what somebody says. Because sometimes people say all kinds of stuff because they in their feelings. And we all do it. You get up in your feelings, you get mad at what somebody is saying, and then you start to lie. You start to assume. Sometimes we don't even realize it, but get out your emotions. To this light-skinned woman right here, get out your emotions. I challenge you to get out of your emotions, because your emotions will cause you to lose the argument with me. You're not going to win. If I was to debate you, Christian Appleton, you wouldn't beat me. I'm so confident to let you know that you wouldn't beat me, because your argument is based upon false assumptions. And a house built upon false assumptions will not stand. It will be completely demolished and dismantled. And I'm the one that'll do it to you, because I'm coming at you with the facts. The dark skinned activists, go look at my countless interviews. Go look at them. Go look at some of Sonetta. Shout out to Sonetta. Sonetta I did 2 interviews on his channel. And the reason I mention those interviews, because those interviews are heavily scholarly based, evidence based, research based. Okay, I can go any way. We can cuss and we can fuss and we can do all that. It don't make me no difference. I can code switch, but you ain't gonna beat me because I'm gonna bring the facts. You must understand that you're dealing with a person that deals with facts. I deal with emotion, but I value my facts over the emotion. And that is your problem to this light-skinned woman. You're making assumptions. You're not dealing in logical reasoning based upon facts. You're not. That's your problem. So you come on to my page and you falsely assume that dark-skinned women do not like or are jealous of light-skinned women. Just think about that for a moment. Think about that blanket statement. Think about that. It's illogical. It doesn't even make any sense. There are light-skinned women that give birth to dark-skinned babies, and dark-skinned women that give birth to light-skinned babies. And I would be willing to argue based on pure emotion alone that those women don't hate their offspring. Those dark-skinned women that are giving birth to light-skinned children, they don't hate their offspring. So that alone would dismantle your argument, Christian Appleton. I hope you're listening, because you inspired us live. We cannot assume that because, now I'm going to bring it back to just myself. We cannot assume that just because Rashida Strober, the dark-skinned activist, created a movement to fight darkism and colorism, that Rashida Strober, the dark-skinned activist, a dark-skinned woman, hates light-skinned women, because that would mean that I would have to, in order for me to have created this movement, I would have had to create the movement out of hate. It doesn't make any logical sense. Instead, what you should focus on, and what you're doing a disservice to, and this is not going to be long because the truth isn't long. I don't need to go long. What you're doing in making this false assumption that dark-skinned women dislike or hate light-skinned women or are jealous of light-skinned women, what you're doing is you are committing darkism, because you are in effect oppressing and dismissing the darkism and the oppression that dark-skinned Black women have been experiencing due to darkism, thereby creating, perpetuating, and enabling more darkism. Do you understand? This is not hard to understand. I'm breaking it down to you, Christian Appleton. You are perpetuating in any light-skinned woman that, and I've addressed this time and again, because I've gotten you don't like light-skinned women, you hate light-skinned women, or you're jealous of light-skinned women. When I hear that, what I hear is a negation of darkism. What I hear is a negation of the dark-skinned female experience or the dark-skinned experience. What I hear is a dismissing of the feelings of dark-skinned women. To break it down even more, we're talking about negating. We're talking about stating that this feeling or this treatment doesn't exist, and we know that it exists. And that, again, in and of itself is oppressive. That in and of itself perpetuates darkism. We don't want to do that. That's the mistake that you're making. That's why I'm appreciative, and I love and I respect the light-skinned and mixed race women over the years that have supported me, because they understand, they get it. They know that dark-skinned activism is not anti-light skin. They know that dark-skinned activism is not I'm jealous of light-skinned women. They know that it is an attack. It is a war against the oppressive system, the global. Let's take this to globality. It's not just about Rashida Strober, American dark skin experience. No, this is a global phenomenon that dark skinned people all over the world experience, and as a result, it impacts our life chances. It adversely impacts our life chances in terms of economics, socioeconomics, and in terms of our political standing throughout the world. And I was talking to a brother and give you an example of what I mean by that. Global darkism. Global, it's about, I keep telling y'all, through all the cussing and huffing and puffing I do, dark skin activism at its root is to bring dark skin, to eliminate global darkism on an economic and a political level. Why do I say that? Let me go back to my thesis, my graduate thesis that covered the topic of, and if you don't know what this means, go research it. Go read my thesis. It's at the University of South Florida Commons. I'm gonna release that thesis. I think I'm gonna turn it into a book and release it so you can understand. One word that I can use to describe global darkism is a term, not one word, should I say a term. It's called structural adjustment. That's just one of many. Structural adjustment economic policies. Go do some research on that. Instituted by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, creating something called, going back to my political science roots, something called dependency theory, which to me, it's not even a theory. It's a realization. Scholars like to come up with these theories, but some of these theories are actually real. They're not theories, they're practical. Dependency theory is where you have the underdeveloped countries dependent on the developed countries. And when we talk about dependent, we mean economically and politically. But in this case, it's definitely more of an economic slant, because these global, I'm going to call them global darkism policies under structural adjustment has caused, for example, the continent of Africa to be in a state of dependency where the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank is literally strangleholding African countries economically by saying, hey, listen, if you don't do what I tell you to do, you're not going to get access to these economic resources. Understand? So that's just one example of it. That's for me, it's bigger than Rashida Strober. I know some of y'all think my channel is all about Rashida Strober because I told you, I told y'all at the beginning of this, you gotta listen. I said dark skin activism is rooted and founded in my experience as a dark skinned female growing up. And it was my search to figure out why was I being treated differently. But dark skin activism is supported by the research. It is expanded into something that is not just emotionally driven based upon my experience. I'm a case study. Rashida Strober case study, dark skin case study. But as I expanded, I went from specific Rashida Strober to general, the world, global darkism. You know, are we on the same page? I told y'all I can cuss you out and then come back at you with some intellectualism. That's not an issue for me. I've been doing it for years. We can go both ways. Bring it. So at the root of this, the end goal of this is the eradication, the elimination of this system of global darkism. I'm calling it global darkism because I'm specifically, remember the word darkism, I created it because colorism didn't go far enough to describe the unique circumstances economically, socially, and politically that dark-skinned people face on a global level. And so that's why I created the word darkism. And I learned that as a political scientist when I was getting my education at the University of South Florida. And I said, if the white men can come up with these theories to escape their oppression, like Karl Marx, he came up with Marxism. Because sometimes you got to create a theory, a paradigm to free yourself. And that's exactly what I did with dark skin activism and darkism. You ain't got to give me credit. I'm taking it because I already know what I've done. I'm telling you what it is. That's the boldness that you have once you step into your power. And that's why I can tell you, Christian, that this person that purports to be a light-skinned woman, you're not stepping into Black power, because you are, like I said earlier, you're negating darkism. You're reducing darkism to jealousy of light-skinned women, which is it doesn't make any sense. If you really sit down and you start to think about this, take your emotions out, and you look at this on an intellectual level, you will understand exactly what I am saying. Okay. Thank you, Laura. You said I'm light skinned, but I totally see. Let me put your comment up there, because I pretty much have stated what I needed to say. There's nothing more to be said. Sometimes what you need to say is succinct. It's self-evident, but it still sometimes needs to be said. So shout out to you, Laura. You said I'm a light skin, but I totally see the unfairness that dark skinned people face. Thank you. Thank you for not reducing my experience to jealousy. Thank you. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And also as a scholar and as an intellectual in this realm of creating dark skin activism, which is the first movement to fight to end colorism and what I call darkism. With that said, guys, I'm going to promote my financial platforms again, and then I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank y'all for watching. I want to ask that you all like this video. Make sure you share this video, because this needs to be heard by those light-skinned people, not all, that will reduce dark-skinned activism to mere jealousy, and it's very mere. You can support the dark-skinned activist by going to my Cash App, which is $rashidalala. Once again, $rashidalala. My PayPal is icecreamladydream@yahoo.com. Once again, icecreamladydream@yahoo.com. And I'm raising funds because I've been in a legal litigation for a year and some months fighting against darkism. And the money goes to help me pay for the legal expenses that I've incurred, and I continue to incur in this fight, in this legal fight. I won't quit. I won't stop. So please make sure you donate. Also, my GoFundMe needs to be at $10,000, and I'm just $180 away. So you can Google Rashida Strober GoFundMe, or you can go to my videos on my channel and look in the comment section or in the description, and you're going to see my Cash App, you're going to see my PayPal, and you're going to see my GoFundMe, and you can make your donations there. You can also go to my website, which is darkskinactivist.com, darkskinactivist.com, and scroll down and you'll see the Cash App and the PayPal. And you can also get access to my free book, Darkism, 25 Ways Dark-Skinned People Are Discriminated Against, and read it. Okay, everybody needs to read that book. And I'll send you, if you make a contribution of $40 or more to any of my financial platforms, I will send you an autographed copy of one of my books. Right now, I have Token Dark Girl in stock. Shout out to brother Operation Exodus Mississippi campaign. Make sure y'all go in YouTube that name. Also, Reality's Temple on Earth. YouTube it and go follow that brother. But that's pretty much it today, y'all. That's all I want. This was on my heart to say. I had to say it because this person made this comment on my videos in the comment section, and I felt this deduction of dark-skinned activism to light-skinned female jealousy is beyond preposterous. But anyway, make sure you go and donate. And I want to thank y'all for watching and listening to the world's first and only dark-skinned activist, Rashida Strober.